I want to tell you the greatest story ever told. It's the story of why we celebrate Christmas.
And the answer to that question of why are we doing all of this tonight? It's because here we believe that truly the story of Christmas has the power to change lives. I mean, for us, it's changed our lives in a very real and personal way. And I know that in a room this size, you guys walk in here tonight and some of you are experiencing the highest of highs and life is great. But I know that for some, you're walking through what feels like the lowest of lows. And if we're honest, Christmas can sometimes be like this combination of both of those. But wherever you're at in your story tonight, our heart for you is that you would experience the hope and the joy of Christmas.
Yes, and as you listen to the story, I want to encourage you to ask yourself this question. What does God want to say to me tonight? Because God didn't just speak thousands of years ago only. He still speaks today.
So from our church, our family to your family, we want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas. We are honored that you decided to spend your evening with us tonight. And now if you're ready, it's time for a celebration of peace.
Welcome everyone to The Story, the greatest story ever told. It's a story of light and darkness, hope and loss, joy and grief, and even one of mystery that may leave us with questions. It's my story, and it's your story. It began thousands of years ago when there was nothing. But in the nothingness, there was God, and from the darkness, he brought forth light. Then God made his favorite creation, people. People were created to guide and care for the world that God had created, but most importantly, to love and walk with God. Decided they didn't want God to be in charge anymore. They chose their own way, and the beauty of creation was cracked. The perfect world God created was broken. Order reduced to disorder. Pain and suffering entered the world, suffering that's sometimes difficult to understand. And now, all of creation groans under the weight of its sin. But even in their rebellion, God had a plan to restore his favorite creation. God's plan to save his people would come as the smallest of gifts, a baby. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. Jesus. But who is Jesus? Jesus was God's plan. God sent his only Son into the world to show us the way, so that we could be saved from the brokenness that we caused. He sacrificed himself so that we could once again have a relationship with him. Now, every year, we're invited to remember what God has done. And just like the angels and shepherds and wise men from that very first Christmas, we sing songs, celebrate, and give gifts, but don't always remember why. Jesus came down from heaven to bring us peace with God. Christmas is that celebration, a celebration of peace.
And so that is the Christmas story. I hope you see tonight that it's more than just some sentimental story about trees and lights, but it's the very real story about a very real God who loved us so much that he sent his son to rescue us. And I hope that you also see that it's not a story that tries to gloss over the pain and the suffering of our world. It's actually about a God who enters into our brokenness. And he knows what it's like to be human, but even more than that, he came to rescue us. He came to reconcile us back to himself. He came to take our guilt and shame and replace it with forgiveness and joy. Now, I know that you may be sitting here tonight and you're like, man, listen, I don't know about this whole Jesus thing. I got some doubts. I got questions. Like, if he really is who he said he is, what does that mean for my life? I want you to know that I had doubts and I had questions. But rather than letting my doubts and questions pull me from God, they were the very thing that led me to him. And it can be the same thing for you tonight. And also, I know, again, that some of you are here and it's been a really hard couple of years and you're going through a difficult season. When we say things like joy and peace, those are the furthest words from your mind. And you're struggling with anxiety or depression, or there's brokenness and loss, there's addiction, there's so many things that could be happening in your heart tonight. We're here to remind you that there's a God who sees you, a God who loves you, and as a church, we are here for you. And so in just a moment, we're going to dismiss you guys. You're going to get to go back outside to Santa's workshop in Bethlehem. But as you leave, you're going to see some people with these red and white scarves or glowing necklaces. These are our leaders and our pastors. We are here tonight for you. We would love to pray with you. If you're like, man, I'm looking for answers, we would like to give them to you. If you just want to tell us your story, we're here for that as well. So as you make your way back out to the green and all the things that are out there, guys, we hope that you have a blast. We again want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And we hope to see you at one of our campuses for our Christmas Eve services. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for watching the show at Celebration of Peace.